Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name's Jason, and this is the March Roundup. March, wow, there's a month that didn't go to plan pretty much at all. We've progressed some kits that we weren't expecting to be progressing, and we didn't progress others that we did. It was a very strange month. So, Arizona, we've done some work on the Arizona. The ship's boats is probably the most time-consuming element of that build, and we're halfway through doing that. So there's lots of activity on the Arizona happening, but off camera right now, because it's all pretty much repetitive, adding photo etch and so on and so forth. But we didn't get enough time on the Arizona this month, for the same reason that we didn't get enough time on the Warspite either, because out of nowhere I got attacked by a Cromwell. So we ended up doing a first impressions video on this, followed by the build videos. Now the thing about pre-order kits from Airfix is you don't know when they're turning up. So you put your order in, and in the case of the Vulcan bomber that they released, that they showed at Telford, I'm 18 months into waiting for that kit to be delivered. So what happens is you put your order on, and then one day you get an email saying we've taken your money, and a couple of days later the postman brings you the kit, and you actually have to go log into your account to find out which kit they've taken the money for, and it's certainly not in the order that you've pre-ordered them. And I think that's been exacerbated by COVID in the last 12 months. But anyway, this turned up. It was being promoted by Airfix as their first ever 135 tank kit. As we now know, it's pretty much an Academy kit with an Airfix logo on it. Having said that, my understanding is that Airfix have been quite heavily involved in what they wanted in specing the kit and how Academy went about it. So it might be made by Academy, but it's very much a kit to the specification of Airfix. So interesting times to come, I think, with armoured fighting vehicles from Airfix. They have a lovely KT ambulance, which will lend itself very much indeed to an Ice Cold in Alex diorama, and I have that on pre-order, and I'm planning the diorama, but I think that's early next year before we see that, and the Vulcan is now the summer-ish. So we got a bit blindsided by this. I wanted to get it out straight away because there was a lot of people wanted to see what this was like. And that's the same reason why we quickly built it, because I know people were interested to know what's it build like, and help them make the decision as to whether to buy into it or not. I've been asked several times, what's it like to the Tamiya kit? Never built a Tamiya kit, don't know. My understanding is the Tamiya kit doesn't come with the turret boxes that this does. Other than that, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, the Cromwell struck, and it was a popular set of videos actually. So we have started the process of painting that, and maybe in April we will see that completed. So Arizona didn't progress quite as much. Warspite, another element of the month that did not go to plan. I've used scale decks several times now. I think the first time I used them was on the Hobby Boss sidelets, and they've always had a slight fit issue. And I wanted to show people how to fit the decks, because I see a lot of videos on YouTube and a lot of talk on Facebook where people are spending a lot of time cutting around all the deck detail to make the deck fit, and the issue tends to be that in the manufacturing process the length of the deck has changed. So it doesn't fit because the length of the deck's wrong. And if you can find a point like I did where you can cut that deck and just move it out, you'll find that it fits better. So cutting the deck in half wasn't a surprise. I knew that we would have to do that. What was a surprise was the deck at the bow, and one of the viewers quite rightly says in the instructions it says fit it under the bulkheads, and I've done that on Arizona as per the instructions, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me while I was doing it, but the result of that is that the bulkheads are now higher by the height of the deck, and so the top deck that goes on top of the bulkhead is then higher by the height of that deck, and you've got gaps and it doesn't fit, and it's all wrong. So yeah, scale deck was much more problematic on Warspite than any other scale deck I've had. So I wouldn't, don't be put off by using the scale decks just because my Warspite build had one or two struggles. If you've not seen the video, it's worth having a look at. And during the course of March, I've learned how to edit my films better. So now I don't have to show lots of sanding because I've learned how to cut a section out of the middle of the film. So we should get some videos that are a little bit more snappy now. So yeah, Warspite, I've got to be honest, I lost my mojo a little bit on Warspite after the scale decks, and the Cromwell had turned up. So we focused on the Cromwell, and Warspite went on the shelf. But I'm itching to get back to Warspite, so we will definitely push her ahead soon. Then, of course, the other March issue was the U9. Lovely as she is, what a pain in the butt. I'm not going to say too much here because I want to leave it for the last video. She's nearly done. I'm in the process of rigging. You can see the pegs hanging off there, just waiting down. The lines there, we're putting the turnbuckles on. So we're just starting to move into the rigging, and then we've got the weathering to do. And then she's done. But I expected U9 to be done by now. I thought that this was going to be a fairly simple kit, especially when I saw it and unboxed it, that the part count is low. But this kit's been really interesting, a really interesting experience. It's a classic fur coat and no knickers kit. It really is. But we'll talk more about that. Anyone who's watched the videos knows some of my grumbles with it. That's not to detract from the fact that the subject matter is beautiful, and I'm glad that they've done it. I just wish they would have put a little bit more effort into the kit rather than the presentation of the box it comes in. Anyway, we'll be finishing that very soon. And then the Model T, well, again, to a certain degree, another victim of what went wrong in March. It's a victim of the fact that the U9's taken a lot longer than expected, a victim of the extra time I spent on Warspite on the deck, and a victim of the Cromwell. In all honesty, if I'd known the Cromwell was turning up, we wouldn't have started the Model T until after it was done. So a lot of stuff got paused because of Airfix coming storming in, and then of course we had the Bristol Beaufort that turned up just a few days after the Cromwell, and we did a quick what's in the box first impressions video of that too. So March was a pretty weird old month, and nothing really went to plan. So that's what's happened with the actual model building side of the channel, and I guess I really want to talk about the channel a little bit. So I've been trying one or two little experiments to try and understand what people are interested in and what people are not interested in, and that's been really quite interesting. What I'm finding is that anything related to model ships is much more popular than anything else. And as a creator, I can go in and have a look at the analytics of each video and see how viewing changes for each video. And it really surprises me, actually, because there's so much aircraft stuff across YouTube, and maybe that's why. But every time I do something that's ship related, the view count is much higher than anything that I might do that's aircraft related. Now, I have said before that what you'll get coming out of my channel is mainly ships, and there'll always be a ship build going on, but mainly isn't exclusively. So, and you've also seen a little bit. Will be seeing a little bit of car stuff coming along. A couple of people have said, like the fact that every video that comes along is different, and that's quite purposely done. The channel is really aimed at what am I building. So it's not a this is how to build models channel. It is this is what I'm building models channel. It's not a how-to model channel per se. I'm not out here claiming that in any way I am a professional or expert modeler. I don't consider myself an expert modeler. There are some things that I'm good at, there are some things I am pants at, and there are some things that I'm learning as I go. Even now, 45 years into doing it, there's always a new technique to see. Someone very kindly, Nigel, mentioning no names to Nigel, came along and said, have you ever tried using your chisel the right way around? So, there's always something to learn. I'm only as good as my training, and I'm self-taught. So, like all of us, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I've had a lot of requests from people to do various things, and occasionally I might oblige, but in the main, my answer is no, I'm not going to do that. So, one gentleman came along and said, could you please just go through what's the best setup for a beginner for an airbrush, and a compressor, and what you need in your setup, and how much I should expect to pay, and what are the best brands. Sorry, I can't do that. I've used 5 brands of airbrush in my entire life. I've used 2 different compressors other than a homemade one out of a car tyre when I was a kid. I'm not qualified to say what's the best brand. I can tell you what's the best brand of the ones I've used. I can tell you the brand that I absolutely hate with a passion, Badger. But I can only tell you that from my experience. I'm not, if you want to know that level of information about something, go and talk to an expert on airbrushes. So go and talk to an airbrush shop that sells the range of different brands and ask them that question. There's no point coming to me because I can't answer that question for you. So I'm not going to do it, and I'm certainly not going to spend my time doing your research for you. I'm not an expert. Because I build models doesn't mean I'm an expert in it. It just means I build models. And I watch YouTube channels for the same reason that I guess people watch my channel, to have a look at the kits just in case I might be interested in buying it, to have a look at a build of a kit I'm about to do, to understand if there's a different way of doing something when something's causing me a headache, just to find out how different people approach things in different ways. So that's all I'm doing here. That said, I've had a number of people asking about stripping down and cleaning an airbrush. So that is something I know something about, and I have done that video, and in April we will do a quick tips video on that. So my quick tips videos, there was something I experimented with a little bit. I wasn't sure whether there's so many tips and how-to videos out there that it wasn't something that I definitely was going to do. And there's lots of beginner stuff out there. So again, not definitely something I want to do. And I have got two young kids, as you know, that build models. And I asked them, should I do some how-to videos? And they said, well, we just ask you, Dad. So I sort of shied away from them at first, but the channel's called Model Kit Stuff, and that's deliberate. And I actually thought long and hard about what to call it, because not everything I do is necessarily going to be a plastic model, and not everything I'm going to do is necessarily going to be about building a model. So I wanted to keep it loose so that if we did different things, it wasn't causing me a problem, and you know, I wasn't building a wooden model ship on Jason's plastic model ship channel. So that's why we're called Model Kit Stuff, because I'm not even sure now exactly what's going to come along in the future as we go. So we've cast that net open. What I've found is that the quick tips videos, compared to all my other videos, are nowhere near as popular, and they don't get anywhere near as views, and that's sort of what I expected. What I will say is, with the quick tip videos, is if I've done something in one of my model build videos and people really want to, and I get asked one or two times, can you just show that a little bit more in depth, then I'm willing to do it, but you might have to wait until the next time I'm doing that on a model. But yeah, that's sort of where the quick tips will be. The other time I might do a quick tips video is if I've seen one or two recent YouTube videos where where something's happening that I believe I could do a quick video and resolve that, and it's topical. So I'm in the process of doing, I can't get to it, of doing a quick tips video now on silvering on decals. So I've seen one or two builds recently where there's a bit of silvering, and the model builds are absolutely beautiful, and then you've got this silvering effect on the decals. And so, quick tip: how to get rid of your silvering and how to prevent it. And the aim is that they're quarter-of-an-hour videos that just go through that process very quickly. And that's not to say that I'm an expert. It's just to say this is how I go about doing it. Yeah, HMS Fly, that was really interesting. So I had no idea whether a wooden model ship would be something that guys that are mainly interested in plastic kits would be interested in or not. And I know there's one or two other channels, Harry Houdini's channel, for example, does that. But I do build wooden model ships. But the response from the HMS Fly First Impressions video was really interesting. So I've got lots of wooden model ships. We've got HMS Fly, we've got the Mary Rose from Caldercraft, we've got a couple of Ockery ships, Queen Elizabeth, I've got a couple of Billing ships, including the massive HMS Warrior, which is the only model kit of that ship. Would you believe it? Beautiful, beautiful. It's basically Queen Victoria's HMS Hood, and there's only one model kit of it ever been made. It beggars belief. Come on, Airfix, we need one of those, please. Yeah, so there's plenty of wooden model kits to get at. They are big builds. They are big builds. The Fly will be a couple of years, at least probably. So I will do the build videos for the HMS Fly because there was enough interest in doing it. So if you were one of those people who said, yes, I'd love to see that, your luck's in, we're going to do that. We will probably start HMS Fly. You'll probably start seeing videos around about May time. There is a lot of sawdust involved in the initial parts of building a wooden model ship. We've got to fair the hull, plank the hull, and then do a second plank of hull, and all of those means lots and lots of sanding, lots and lots of dust, and I like to try and do that outside. So I need the the weather to warm up a little bit and things to improve a little bit before we get stuck into that. So it may be June before you start seeing videos, and I'll start that in May most likely. I have some holiday time around then, so I'll probably find while I'm on holiday we'll start that. So yeah, ships versus aircraft. Like I say, we will continue to do some aircraft, but ships is what most people appear to be interested in. My first impressions of the Condorcet really surprised me. It's had a lot of views compared to some other stuff. So a big thank you for everyone who puts the likes on those first impressions videos. We will keep those coming for a little while yet. So a couple of other things related to the channel. We have a new milestone. And I'm not talking subscribers, though we'll talk about subscribers in a second. This channel, Model Kit Stuff, has for the very first time blocked a viewer. So yeah, I said this in my last monthly roundup in February, and I will say it again. If you come on and you're offensive to me, or offensive to one of the people that has left a comment on my video, I will remove it. So don't waste your time writing it, and don't bother. You know, it's nice to be nice, just be polite and respectful to everybody. I don't mind constructive criticism, I don't mind being corrected, I don't mind being told I'm wrong, I don't mind being told that the way I'm doing it is wrong. I really don't mind all that. That's all part of the discussion for everyone to see. And I encourage that wholeheartedly, but you know, I'm not going to tolerate people being offensive in any shape or form. So if you are offensive, I'll block you because I don't need you. If you're offensive to others, I'll remove it and I'll block you because nobody needs it. Okay. Having said that, there is also another reason why some of your messages might not be turning up, and I know that one or two other channels have mentioned this recently, but I'm going to mention it also. If you send a message which has a link to a website or even another YouTube video, I will see it. I have a section in the YouTube studio where I can see all my comments, see the comments that I've not commented on, and so on and so forth. I will see it in there, but I won't be able to reply to it, and no one else will see it. This is fairly recent because one or two people sent me links right in the early days in January and even February, and I received them. And then what's happening is if you send me a link, I can see it, and I could go and watch it. So Ron sent me a lovely video of a Lysander taking off and going in flight. Really, really good video to watch, actually. Thank you, Ron. But if you send me a link now, I can't do anything with it, and no one's going to see it. So it's better to just say something along the lines of, go to this website and you'll find one of these if you look around. That way, me and everybody else can see what you're talking about. So yeah, that seems to be a relatively new thing, which has made all that, it has saved me some time because I'm not having to remove links to pornography. So, okay, that is the stuff on the channel done. Some thanks. So I like to do this. There is always one or two people that comment quite a bit, and all comments are really grateful. So it was interesting this month to see with the Cromwell tank how the comments changed a little bit. As you can see, Airfix seems to bring out the worst in some people, and I've come across this over the years, that there still seems to be some some strange Let's Bash Airfix thing going on, and I really don't get why. Yes, they've made some, they've had some struggles over the years, and yes, they've made one or two kits that aren't the best, and yes, they've continued to release old kits, but they've now addressed that. You know, whether, if it's in a red box, that it's a relatively new tool. It's going to be, something that's been designed fairly recently, one way or another. And if it's in a classics box, you're getting something from the 50s and 60s that's going to be full of flash and not moulded properly and not have much detail and have raised detail and not fit. But you're either a modeler who's up for that, or you just buy something from a red box. So it's quite interesting. There was a little bit of very light Airfix bashing going on, but you could get the undertone. And one or two people, I never buy an Airfix kit. Well, I can tell you now, in 2020, the very best kit I built during the entirety of 2020, and I built a lot because of lockdown, was an Airfix kit. It was their Walrus Silver Wings. What an astonishingly, breathtakingly beautiful model that is, both inside and out. And the finished model is one of the best models I've built because the model kit itself was so good. And I certainly recommend that kit to anyone who's interested in aircraft. So yeah, it was interesting. I'm not someone who really follows along with that Let's Bash Airfix and Humbrol. I use a lot of Humbrol products. I still think their paints are amongst the very, very best you can buy. And I like what Airfix do. They're not Tamiya, no, but they don't aim to be Tamiya either. So yeah, I have a lot of respect. My kids have started out on Airfix kits just like I have, and that's what's getting them into the hobby. And that's what we need. We need more people coming into the hobby. So yeah, really interesting, some of the comments, but some people comment quite a bit, and there's one or two people I just want to say big thanks to. So the Scale Model Car Guy channel, and Jeff Donahue, pretty much you comment on everything that I produce, every single video. I'm really grateful for your comments, particularly the fact that you're supporting every video and taking time to watch every video. But I love the fact that you watch every video, and I'm very grateful for the fact that you comment, and sometimes those comments have started conversations. So big thumbs up. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. Really do. Other people that have commented quite regularly, Gavin Booth, Nick Bruff, Charlie Messenger, and James Mower have all been commenting quite a bit. Very, very grateful for all those comments. I've had some lovely comments. Despite everything we've just said about blocking people and about bad language and so on and so forth, 99% of everything that gets commented on my channels is positive, and I really appreciate that. It encourages me. It encourages me to keep putting videos out, and I think it's helpful for everybody else. So yeah, thank you. Keep doing that. Keep putting those comments up. Keep starting conversations. Keep asking questions. Right, asking questions. What I'm thinking about doing is doing sort of questions and answers at the end of a build. So I'm still thinking about it, but we're getting towards the end of the U9 build, and what I might do when I round it up, I might invite you to ask any questions about the build of the kit, and then we might do a sort of post-build question and answers. So very much looking at how did the kit go together, any particular tips, what's the most important thing to do when putting it all together, or whatever, I don't know. So I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, but it's something we might invite and see what happens. So another one of my little experiments to see what works and what doesn't work on the channel. Okay, getting a bit warm in here. Right, I know I'm rambling, but if you watch this channel, you know that that's a feature. Okay, so enough about my channel, or ish. What have I been watching? What's worth having a look at that maybe you might not have spotted. So, Oscar modelling. He is building 1700 Nimitz, which is looking really nice. And even though it's 1700, it's a nice, decent sized kit. So definitely worth going having a look at that if you've not done so. It's coming together very well. And as he says himself, it's a ship and he just does ships. Rims models, beautiful, beautiful bulldozer build. So if you dig out Rims models, he's done a build of a bright yellow bulldozer, but the weathering is exquisite. The way it's been put together is exquisite. So you sort of see it as it's come together in different stages. You've got all these individual tracks, and he basically talks you through what he's done. But it's worth going and have a look at because it's a really beautiful model, really well finished. Steve Jones Modelling, he's working on a T34 at the moment, which is looking absolutely outstanding. Lots of thought going into how has this tank got battered up, what's the story behind each little dent. It's absolutely beautiful thing to watch. So if you've not seen that, that's Steve Jones Modelling, then please go and do so. Brett G, he's working on a 148 Hellcat, which is really interesting to watch how he goes about that and that coming together. If you're a fairly new modeler, he's doing a sort of an entry level tank build as well, which is good to see. So big fan of that channel. His approach is nice. His videos is nice. Definitely his Hellcat is definitely worth going dig it out and having a look at. And then I've come across a new channel, and I can't remember how I came across it, but it's called Monty's Military Models. Now, he hasn't put a video up for a little while, for a few months, but there is a huge amount of military vehicle content on there. So if you're interested in your military vehicles, it's worth going having a look at what's on that channel. And in the last couple of days, the Midwest model shop has started out on the 1200 Titanic. And the first video focuses on the hull, and he's pretty much approaching that build in the same way that I would have, whereas the hull has some obvious things that need to be sorted without going into the major craftsmanship of reworking the hull that Nigel has done. If you've been watching Nigel's videos, where he's quite expertly taken the hull that was designed to fit another ship that's not Titanic, clearly, because it doesn't look like the Titanic almost remotely, and turned it into something of a thing of beauty, then I think you'll also enjoy the Midwest Model Shop's approach, where they've gone, okay, this doesn't look right, but we can tweak this bit here, and it'll look better. So a nice little approach difference, which I think some people will enjoy. And if you've not seen his Missouri build and his Arizona build, which I think was his first 200 kit, they're definitely worth catching up on as well. In his Arizona, he pretty much is learning about photo etch as he goes, so it's quite interesting to watch his journey and his learning curve there. So yeah, that's what I'm watching at the moment. So go and have a look at those. If I think on, I'll put links in once I've posted this video. So if the links aren't there when you first watch this video, come back and I'll probably find the moment to pop them in. Other stuff of interest that's been happening in March. I see HK have brought out their 148 Lancaster, which is interesting. It looks like Tamiya's 45-year-old crown might be passing to HK. I'm interested to see someone review that. I haven't seen a box review of that or anything yet, but that looks like it might be quite an interesting kit. Trumpeter, I notice, are bringing a Tirpitz out, hot on the heels of their 1350 Bismarck. I've not looked at it, but I'm pretty sure I won't buy it. My view of life is the price of trumpeter kits at the moment is making me think twice about it. And quite frankly, before Trumpeter brought out their 1350 Bismarck, the best 1350 Bismarck by a long way actually was the Revell kit. The new one, you have to be careful when you're shopping. There's two different versions of the Revell Bismarck, and you want the later one. So do your research and go on Scalemates or something and make sure that you're getting the right kit reference number. But if you get the later Bismarck and then go and buy the Pontos upgrade kit for it, that's probably costing you less than the Trumpeter kit, and you're getting something a fair bit more accurate, I would reckon. I can't see why that would be any different for the Tirpitz. My suggestion would be go and find Revell's Platinum Tirpitz release, which has all the Pontos stuff in it anyway. It has their deck, and it has the basic photo etch set, which is actually quite comprehensive and does your guns, corrects the masts, does quite a bit of the superstructure details as well. So yeah, get the Platinum Edition Revell Tirpitz, and that's going to cost you what, 110 quid. So it's likely to be less than half the price of the Trumpeter one. That's just my thoughts on it. Obviously, I've not seen the Tirpitz kit. I could be corrected there, but that's my view. The other little model kit that came out that sort of slipped in under the radar in the last couple of weeks that I thought was really interesting was Italeri brought out a little 172 section of carrier deck with the little blast barriers that you can model in the up position. A lovely little diorama base, effectively, for a 172 carrier aircraft, and it looks really lovely, actually. Yeah, have a look at that if you're interested in your gentleman scale aircraft. That might be one for you, but it did look really nice when I spotted it. The other thing in the Airfix Model World magazine for March was that they did a build of this bad boy here, and we will talk about that in a minute. So that's sort of it for March. What's happening in April? Well, Arizona. We will finish the ship's boats in Arizona. I'm absolutely determined. Now, I've been sent some lovely pictures, and I'll talk more about that in the next Arizona build video. I've been sent some lovely pictures by email from one of the viewers, and that's given me some options that give me some thought on some options. So we're going to do something slightly different with one or two of the ship's boats as a result of that. There's some pictures there that I've not seen before. So yeah, really interesting. We're going to do a combination on the ship's boats of open ones where you can view the inside detail, and some with canvas covers, which will make for a nice little mix on the ship. But we'll also slow down my my ship's boats a little bit. So ship's boats is what I want to try and get finished on the Arizona, which will include putting the little tie downs on, which aren't included in the etch kit. So we'll have to scratch those and see how I'll go about doing that. Once we've got the ship's boats out of the way, then Arizona will pick up some pace, because the rest of the build is fairly straightforward after that. So the gun emplacements are pretty much untouched by etch, or very little etch. So all the gun emplacements, of which there's quite a number, and then you're pretty much on the masts, the main superstructure, spot rigging. So yeah, do that now. Crack on with that and get the boats out of the way. Warspite, definitely want to push on with that. We will get the hull painted and I'd like to hope we get the hull painted and weathered during April. And if we don't start on the superstructure, we'll at least get to the point where the next videos will be on building up that superstructure. The black boot line actually is going to be quite a challenge because of the shape of the hull and where the boot line should go. It's probably one of the more difficult hulls to paint actually. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that comes out. I'm interested to see it, so I'm sure you are. But yeah, that's where we'll go with Warspite. We will push on with the Model T. I'd like to think we get the car finished, even if we don't get the two figures finished. But very much want to get the Model T done. Largely, the car bits are largely done. There's quite a bit of stuff to go underneath, some gubbins to go underneath that all needs painting up and fitting. And a viewer said, I think it was just yesterday, that they got up to the same point. We're struggling to fit the exhaust, so we'll have a look at that and show the fit of the exhaust in that next video. And then the U9, that'll get finished early in April. It may even get finished by the end of March, possibly. It's nearly there, but I'm just holding back from saying I'm nearly done because the model keeps fighting back. So I'm going to be a little bit cautious, but it's nearly there, and that by hook or by crook will get finished quickly because I want to crack on with this. And I know I promised that we'd start that in March, and one thing and another that's not happened so far. So even if I started doing video builds for this weekend, you wouldn't see them until April anyway, just because of the way there's a time lag between me filming, modelling stuff, and then putting it together as content. So that we will be starting as soon as the U9's finished. That's the plan. We have some other stuff coming along as well in April. So a couple of first impressions videos, including another ship and another car. You'll be seeing one or two cars over the next couple of months. I'm warming up to doing a big diorama, which will probably start at the end of the summer. When we can't do much more on fly, we might start it then, and that'll be a Famo transporter on a civilian street with a Polish tank and some civilian and military cars and some figures and some buildings and bits and pieces. So we're looking forward to that. Also, we're going to be doing something a little bit different with the first impressions videos. So this idea I've had for some 132 aircraft first impressions, to link them together, came out of a conversation I was privy to at a model show, gosh, a couple of years ago maybe a bit longer. And there was a debate going on about who made the best 132 scale model. And I thought that was a really interesting debate to listen into, and I can remember standing listening to it. And so I thought, well, wouldn't that be interesting? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a series of what will be ultimately 6 videos during April. I've already filmed 4 of them. And what there will be is we will review 4 different 132 scale aircraft kits. So I have them here. So we'll be there'll be a wingnut wings in there, there'll be a Tamiya in there, there'll be an Edward in there, and there'll be a Zukimura. This one, in fact, that's a little bad boy. And what we will do is we will review them, we will compare them, and at the end we will score them and see who makes the best 132 scale aircraft kit. And what does best mean anyway, but we'll explain all that in the videos. So we're going to call it the Battle of the 132s. I think it's just a little bit of fun. Whilst we have a look at what's in the box, let's just have a little bit of fun with that. It's just a spin on doing those videos of what's in the box and what the first impression is. I have built models from all of these manufacturers, so I can comment on stuff that you can't get out of the box, like what's the fit likely to be. Likely, don't know till you build it. But yeah, that should be some fun. Battle of the 132s, look out for that. We're going to have a bit of fun with that and a little bit of competition. And talking of competition, we are at around about, as I talk, 750 subscribers. Wow, who knew there was that many crazy people? My daughters think I've been watching my channel and I've been coming up with various suggestions, most of which I've gone, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and we will never do them. We will not do those ideas. However, there was a good idea about, well, when you get 1,000 subscribers, you should celebrate and do this. And my youngest daughter said, you should do a live feed. And my eldest daughter said, maybe you should post your video and do a live chat. I don't know, are people interested in doing a live chat around a build? I'm not sure, don't know. Maybe that's something we'll play around with on a small build and see what happens. But if we get to 1,000 subscribers at any point, what we're going to do is we are then going to do a little video and review a small number of kits, and then ask you, the subscribers, you guys, to vote for what you'd like to see built on the channel, and we will stop everything and build that model to just say thank you to 1,000 mad people who decided to watch this channel. So yeah, that's where we're up to. That is March boxed off and gone into history, and April on its way. So I am due to get my COVID jab tomorrow. My partner had it a few weeks ago, and she was, let's say, a little unwell for a couple of days with it. Felt a little bit off colour, but I'm looking forward to getting the jab done. I'm looking forward to things opening up a little bit. I put my best shirt on and my aftershave when I went looking for a greenhouse the other day. That's where we've got to. I need to get out and go and visit a model shop or two. So hopefully things are going in the right direction, and I hope it is for you guys as well, wherever you are in the world, and that we can get a little bit back to normal, and we can get in those model shops and have a good browse through the kits and spend some of our money. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for all the support. Look after yourselves. Happy modelling, and I will see you very soon. Take care now.